Alright, let's talk linear games. You know, the ones that don't leave you wandering around for 50 hours questioning your entire existence before you actually find the main quest. These are the games that grab you by the face and say, sit down, shut up, and enjoy this absolute roller coaster of a story. No side quests about fetching a random villager's missing chicken. Just pure, unfiltered action, storytelling, and moments that will either make you cheer in excitement or question why you even have tear ducts. So today, we're counting down 20 linear games you must play before you die. Uncharted 4 is proof that Nathan Drake is both the luckiest and unluckiest man alive. Lucky because he somehow survives every ridiculous situation thrown at him, falling off cliffs, crashing cars, dodging explosions, but unlucky because, for some reason, people just refuse to let him retire. In this game, our boy Nate is chilling with his wife, finally living a normal life, when, bam! His long-lost brother Sam shows up like a debt collector, dragging him back into the treasure hunting business. And what follows is basically Indiana Jones, but with even better graphics and way more climbing. Seriously, I hope Nathan Drake's chiropractor is on speed dial because this man spends half the game dangling from ledges by a single hand. The action sequences are insane. You're in a full-speed Jeep chase, jumping between trucks, fighting off mercenaries, and somehow not dying of a heart attack. But beyond all the chaos, the game's got heart. It's about family, regrets, and whether or not your wife will murder you for sneaking off to Pirate Islands. Spoiler, Elena is a saint. Uncharted 4 is the perfect blend of action, humor, and how am I still alive moments. Silent Hill 2 is not your average horror game. It's like a therapy session that went horribly, horribly wrong. James Sunderland arrives in this cursed town looking for his dead wife, red flag number 1, only to find himself trapped in a fog-filled nightmare where everything wants to kill him. Nurses, mannequins, Pyramid Head, who is essentially a gym rat with a sword bigger than his mortgage. The remake is set to make things even scarier, with graphics so realistic that you'll probably start seeing fog in your living room. But what makes Silent Hill 2 special isn't just the jump scares, it's the psychological horror. This game doesn't just want to spook you, it wants to mess with your head. Every monster is basically James' trauma in horrifying, fleshy form. And if you weren't questioning your sanity before playing, you sure as hell will after. Silent Hill 2 is the kind of game that will haunt you long after you turn off the console. Just don't play it at night, or alone, or near mirrors. Actually, just move to a sunny beach and forget this place ever existed. Kratos used to be the angriest man in gaming, ripping gods apart like they were pieces of rotisserie chicken. But in God of War 2018, he's trying something even harder than killing deities, being a dad. And let me tell you, watching Kratos try to parent a sassy preteen while also fighting off dragons, trolls, and undead Viking warriors is peak entertainment. This game takes everything great about the old God of War games and injects it with emotional depth. The combat is ridiculously satisfying. The Leviathan axe is basically Thor's hammer, but cooler, and the world is filled with Norse mythology goodness, from talking heads to world serpents who sound like they just woke up from a nap. But the best part? Kratos struggled to connect with Atreus. This is a man who once ripped gods in half with his bare hands, and now he's trying to figure out how to express feelings. Honestly, the real boss fight here is fatherhood. If you want epic action, great storytelling, and a constant stream of boy, God of War is a must-play. Just remember, Kratos may have mellowed out, but he can still throw hands with a mountain if he has to.
Get control of yourself, boy!
Fine! Do it!
Resident Evil 4 is back, and guess what? It's still absolutely bonkers. If you thought Leon Kennedy was cool in the original, he's somehow even cooler now. This man walks into a zombie cult village with nothing but a handgun and his impeccable hair, and instead of panicking, he just starts roundhouse kicking fools like it's an action movie. The remake makes everything even better. Smoother combat, scarier enemies, and yes, that mysterious merchant is still here, still asking, "What are you buying?" like a sketchy alleyway dealer. The game is packed with pure chaos. 1 minute, you're fighting chainsaw maniacs, and the next, you're in a medieval castle dodging flaming catapults. And let's not forget Ashley, the president's daughter, who has mastered the ancient art of getting kidnapped every 5 minutes. But honestly, that's all part of the fun. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a thrill ride from start to finish, proving once again that Leon Kennedy is the John Wick of zombie games. Just make sure you have enough herbs because this game does not mess around. The Last of Us Part 1 is not just a game, it's an emotional ambush. You think you're here for some zombie shooting fun? Nope. You're actually signing up for trauma, trust issues, and probably crying in the fetal position by the end. This remake takes the already heart-wrenching story of Joel and Ellie and makes it even more visually stunning, so now you can see every tear in HD. The world is brutal, the infected are terrifying, and every encounter feels desperately intense, because every bullet counts. But the real beauty of The Last of Us is the relationship between Joel, the grumpy survivor, and Ellie, the foul-mouthed teen who somehow makes dad jokes during the apocalypse. Their journey is full of terrifying encounters, quiet emotional moments, and yes, giraffes, which is the closest thing this game gives you to happiness. If you haven't played this yet, what are you doing? Just know, by the time you finish, you will need a hug. Or several, and maybe some therapy. If Dark Souls and Journey to the West had a baby, it would be Black Myth Wukong, a game where you play as Sun Wukong, aka the Monkey King, aka the only primate who can solo an entire army with a staff and still look stylish doing it. This game is dripping with mythological goodness, gorgeous landscapes, bizarre creatures, and enough boss fights to make your controller question its life choices. Combat is buttery smooth, and Wukong's transformations let you switch things up mid-fight, from turning into a giant monster to straight up cloning yourself, because why fight fair when you can fight with 4 of you? The game looks like a kung fu fever dream, and honestly, I'm ready to get my butt kicked by every ancient Chinese deity they throw at me. If you like Souls-like games but want to feel like an overpowered monkey god instead of a sad medieval knight with PTSD, Black Myth, Wukong is your next obsession. Final Fantasy VII Remake is proof that nostalgia isn't dead. It's just been remastered in 4K and given a ridiculous budget. This game takes everything you loved about the original and cranks it up to 11. Better combat, stunning visuals, and more Tifa punching things, which, let's be honest, is what we all wanted. Cloud Strife is still the ultimate broody anime protagonist, Sephiroth is still the world's most dramatic villain, and Midgar looks so good that you'll want to live there, until you remember that the entire city is basically run by an evil power company that treats people like disposable batteries. The new combat system is Chef's Kiss, a perfect blend of action and strategy that makes every fight feel like an anime battle scene. And the best part? This remake isn't even the whole story yet, meaning we have even more Final Fantasy VII goodness to look forward to. Just be warned, the game might hit you with some unexpected twists that will have you staring at your screen like, wait, what did they just change?
Get him!
Come on. Please don't leave me.
I'm coming!
I won't
Tagging out!
all the time.
Maybe this'll do the trick.
This isn't just a game, it's a psychological roller coaster that will leave you questioning your own sanity. Hellblade. Senua's sacrifice puts you in the shoes of Senua, a warrior suffering from psychosis, as she fights through a nightmarish world filled with monsters, illusions, and voices that never shut up. And the best part? You need to listen to them because they'll sometimes give you hints, or just mess with your head for fun. The game is brutally immersive, with combat that feels like every swing of your sword is life or death, and puzzles that make you feel like you're either a genius or an idiot, no in between. There's no HUD, no health bar, just you, Senua, and your ability to not freak out when the game starts whispering directly into your ears. Play this one with headphones for maximum, oh god, I think the game is talking to me moments. It's terrifying, it's beautiful, and it's an emotional gut punch in the best way possible.
End it! No! Near the end! He's gone!
Alan Wake is back, and this time he's not just a struggling writer, he's a struggling writer trapped in a literal horror novel. Alan Wake 2 takes everything creepy from the first game and turns it into a full-blown survival horror masterpiece. This game is so scary, even Alan's typewriter is probably haunted. You switch between Alan and newcomer Saga Anderson, an FBI agent who definitely regrets taking this case. The game plays like a psychological thriller directed by Stephen King on way too much caffeine. Shadows try to kill you, reality warps around you, and sometimes Alan literally writes his way out of danger. Combat? It's all about light versus darkness. So your best weapon is a flashlight, because nothing says horror badass like blinding your enemies before unloading a shotgun into their haunted faces. If you like your horror games with a side of existential dread and a sprinkle of what is even real anymore, Alan Wake 2 is your next nightmare. If you've ever wanted to make extremely stressful life or death decisions while questioning whether AI will eventually replace us, Detroit Become Human is the game for you. This is basically an interactive sci-fi movie where your choices actually matter, like, oh no, I made one bad decision and now half the cast is dead, kind of matter. You play as 3 androids, Connor, the detective bot who is somehow both awkward and cool at the same time, Marcus, who goes from housekeeper to revolution leader overnight, and Kara, who just wants to keep a kid safe in a world that is not safe at all. Every choice you make shapes the story, meaning you can either guide these androids to freedom or accidentally turn the whole thing into a robo-apocalypse. The game is filled with tough moral dilemmas, insane action sequences, and moments that will have you staring at the screen like, wait, did I just ruin everything? Plus, Connor and his human partner Hank have the best buddy cop dynamic in gaming, if you keep them both alive, that is, no pressure.
I'm an android, just like you. I know how you're feeling.
What difference does it make if you're an android? You're on their side. You can't understand how I'm feeling. Are you armed?
No, I don't have a gun.
You're lying. I know you have a gun.
I'm telling you the truth, Daniel.
Welcome to A Plague Tale: Innocence, where your 2 biggest enemies are the entire French Inquisition and about 10 billion rats that move like a demonic tidal wave. You play as Amicia, a teenage girl trying to protect her little brother Hugo, who, fun fact, has some seriously weird supernatural rat powers. The game is like The Last of Us, but with more medieval trauma and fewer zombies. You'll spend most of the time sneaking past murderous soldiers and praying to whatever gaming gods exist that the rats don't decide you look extra tasty today. Oh, and did I mention the rats hate light? Because that means your survival plan is basically stay in the glow or become rat food. The story is brutal. The world is gorgeous in the most depressing way possible, and by the end of it, you'll be both emotionally devastated and terrified of small squeaky noises forever.
Shoot! Go away!
Calm down, Hugo. The light will protect us, all right?
All right.
So that's their plague. Rats. The priest spoke of a way out, through the crypt.
Amicia! The three statues!
The crypt of the Three Saints. It's the exit the father spoke of. Oh, we have to find another way.
Hi-Fi Rush is what happens when someone says, what if Devil May Cry and Guitar Hero had a hyperactive baby, and then actually made it? You play as Chai, a wannabe rock star who accidentally gets his music player fused into his heart, turning his entire life into one massive rhythm game. Combat? It's on beat. Enemy attacks? On beat. Even the environment itself bounces to the rhythm. If you're not jamming while dodging laser beams and uppercutting robots, you're doing it wrong. This game oozes Saturday morning cartoon energy, with a killer soundtrack, hilarious dialogue, and the kind of combat that makes you feel like a rock god, even if you have zero sense of rhythm. It's so fun and upbeat that even when you're getting wrecked, you're still vibing. Seriously, if more games were this creative, we'd all have way too much serotonin to function.
Wanted to help, right? Don't worry, it's just till I get out of here.
Better not run off with her.
Sifu is basically a love letter to martial arts movies, but instead of watching the action, you live it, over and over again, because you will die. A lot. The game follows a young Kung Fu student on a revenge quest, but with one brutal twist: every time you die, you get older. Which means you start out as a young, spry fighter and slowly turn into an absolute grandmaster, but with the slight downside of creaky bones and less health. The combat is insanely smooth, with every punch, kick, and parry feeling like it came straight out of a Jackie Chan movie. But Sifu isn't just about looking cool. It's about mastering the fight system and learning from every failure. Because if you don't, you'll end up as a 75-year-old grandpa trying to beat up a room full of gangsters, and trust me, that's not a good time. If you love brutally difficult but wildly satisfying combat, Sifu will kick your butt and make you thank it afterward. This game asks the important question: what if you worked in a mysterious government building where reality doesn't make sense, and also you have telekinetic superpowers? The answer is Control, a game that's equal parts mind-bending sci-fi thriller and destruction simulator. You play as Jessie Faden, a woman searching for her lost brother inside the oldest house, a brutalist nightmare full of floating bodies, weird cult vibes, and enemies that look like they crawled out of a VHS tape. But who cares about that when you can yeet entire filing cabinets at people using your brain? The combat is ridiculously fun, with psychic powers that let you fly, throw objects, and turn enemies against each other. The story is deeply weird in the best way possible. The world is a mix of mystery and madness, and by the time you're done, you'll be questioning whether you have superpowers too. Spoiler, you don't. But Control will make you wish you did. Ever wanted to play as a cat? Of course you have. And Stray delivers the most realistic cat experience ever. You can run, jump, explore a dystopian cyberpunk city, and knock things over just to be annoying. This game perfectly captures the essence of being a cat, casually ignoring danger, solving puzzles by accident, and randomly meowing just because you can. But it's not all just kitty antics. There's actually a deep, emotional story about loneliness, survival, and what it means to be free. You're navigating a world where humans are gone, robots are your new besties, and mysterious creatures want to eat you. But no worries, you've got a tiny robot sidekick, and together you're going to uncover some serious cyberpunk secrets. Whether you're a cat lover, a sci-fi fan, or just someone who enjoys pressing a button to scratch furniture, Stray is a must-play. And yes, there's a dedicated Meow button. Game of the year, every year. If you've ever wanted to play a first-person assassin simulator where you can stop time, teleport, and possess a fish, congratulations, Dishonored 2 is your new best friend. This game is all about revenge, chaos, and looking extremely cool while doing both. You can play as either Corvo or Emily, and both have ridiculous supernatural powers that make you feel like an absolute god of stealth. Or a one-person apocalypse if you prefer the loud and messy approach. The level design? Masterpiece. Each area is a puzzle box of death, just waiting for you to find the most stylish way to eliminate your enemies. And let's not forget the Clockwork Mansion, a level so brilliantly designed that it probably made other game developers cry in jealousy. Whether you play as a silent ghost or a murder tornado, Dishonored 2 ensures you have an absolutely unhinged good time. Just try not to possess too many innocent people. It's rude.
This character's body is important, even though I don't fully understand the situation. We'll wait for the...
What's going on here?
That sounded like... glass. But...
You ever think, man, I love cowboy games, but what if there were more vampires and even bigger explosions? Well, Evil West is here to deliver on that exact fever dream. This game throws you into an alternate Wild West, where you play as Jesse Rentier, a cowboy who decided that bullets alone weren't enough, so he electrified his fists. That's right, you're punching vampires so hard they disintegrate. The combat is fast, brutal, and wildly fun, with a mix of gunplay, melee, and enough lightning-powered punches to make Thor jealous. The story is exactly as ridiculous as it sounds, and that's what makes it great. It's dumb fun in the best way, like Doom but with cowboys and fangs. If you love action games, Evil West is the kind of over-the-top insanity you absolutely need in your life.
Bet that hurt.
What are you protecting?
If relationship counseling and a Pixar movie had a baby, it would be It Takes Two. This game forces you and a co-op partner, probably your best friend or your soon-to-be ex if you argue too much, to work together through a completely unhinged world. You play as a couple on the verge of divorce who get magically transformed into tiny dolls, and now you have to fix your relationship while also surviving murder hornets, sentient vacuums, and a deeply unsettling stuffed elephant situation. Every level introduces wildly different mechanics. One moment you're shooting nails, the next you're flying a plane made out of underwear. It's chaotic, hilarious, and honestly one of the most fun co-op games ever made. Just remember, If your partner accidentally drops you off a ledge for the 5th time in a row, it's probably not an accident anymore.
Whoa! I think this power's up for Saul.
Life is Strange is what happens when you mix teen drama, time travel, and a whole lot of emotions. You play as Max, a photography student who discovers she can rewind time, which sounds super cool until you realize that every decision you make is still somehow the wrong one. The game is all about choices, and let me tell you, you will regret all of them. Should you save a friend, expose a secret, water a plant? That last one actually matters, and if you don't, you'll feel really bad about it later. The story is beautiful, the soundtrack is indie perfection, and the characters are so well written that you'll be emotionally destroyed by the end. Life is Strange is a game that makes you feel things, and then punches you in the heart for good measure. Just be prepared to stare at the screen in silence when the credits roll, questioning every life choice you've ever made.
Who begs like a little girl and talks to himself.
You don't know who the fuck I am or who you're messing around with.
Where'd you get that? What are you doing? Come on, put that thing down!
Don't ever tell me what to do! I'm so sick of people trying to control me!
You are going to get in hella more trouble for this than drugs.
Nobody would ever even miss your punk ass, would they?
Get that gun away from me, psycho!
No!
If Uncharted is like an action movie, then Rise of the Tomb Raider is like Bear Grylls on steroids. This is Lara Croft's best adventure yet, packed with more danger, explosions, and ancient mysteries than ever before. You'll be climbing mountains, raiding tombs, and somehow surviving things that would absolutely kill a normal human. And let's talk about the survival mechanics. Lara is out here crafting arrows from dead animals, fighting bears with a knife, and just generally proving she's tougher than all of us combined. The combat is smooth, the exploration is addictive, and the story is genuinely engaging. It's like Indiana Jones, but way more hardcore. Plus, you can spend hours just hunting and collecting resources like you're preparing for the apocalypse. If you haven't played this yet, fix your life immediately. Lara Croft deserves better from you.
She's here! Kill her! You're gonna die! Let's go!
And there you have it. 20 absolutely must-play linear games that will either leave you emotionally shattered, cheering with excitement, or rage-quitting in frustration. If you made it this far, congrats, you now have an even longer backlog of games you need to play before you die. Let me know which of these games wrecked you the most in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming chaos.